Hi kids, it's Mrs. Fravel again. Welcome to part 2 of what it means to be human, or humans, the ultimate animal. I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible, so here we go. Okay, so I left off last time talking about the first bipedal hominin, Australopithecus afarensis. After that species appeared, there seems to be a split in the human lineage. It's hypothesized that there were two main populations of afarensis, and just due to local environmental changes, because that's what happens with evolution, right? There over time became enough genetic diversity that there were now two main types of hominin. There were still the Australopithecus genus, and these were hominins that were a little more robust. They were a little bigger. They were still bipedal. They lived in some scrub forests. They were mostly herbivorous. They ate a lot more plants, so they had big jaws, big molars, big skull muscles to power those jaws. And then the other genus that appears in the fossil record is the genus Homo. That should sound familiar. You are a Homo. You are of the genus Homo. This group was several different species over time, and these were what we consider to be the more modern of the human lineage. Okay? And the differences were these were a little bit smaller. They also exhibited tool use, culture that we recognize as similar to being our culture, and then these are the ones that really migrated and expanded out of Africa. Okay, and the lineage kind of looks like this. So we had right back here, 5 million years ago, is when the human lineage split off from the other great apes. And then here was Lucy, that afarensis, and we had two populations that diversified. One trajectory led to the Australopithecines. That was a dead end. They all went extinct eventually. And the other lineage at the same time was evolving, the Homo genus, Habilis erectus sapiens, and we're going to talk about them. Okay. This is all seen in the fossil records and in anthropological sites all over Africa. And there were quite a few species of human who were contemporaries that lived at the same time. So there might have been two different species of Australopithecus or more living not far away from each other. There were also more than one species of the genus Homo around at the same time. So I'm going to go through just a few of the more famous ones. I'm going to pop back out. Okay, Australopithecus, a couple of the ones that we see in the fossil record that were kind of major in terms of evolutionary jumps. Africanus was the first one after afarensis. It was a little bit taller, a little more robust. And then we had the big Australopithecines, and these were the end line for that genus. We had Aethopithecus. That's a fun one to say. Australopithecus robustus and Australopithecus boisei, and there are a few other species. Again, these were big herbivores. They all became extinct around 1.6 million years ago. That was a dead end genus of human. But then we have the genus Homo. Okay. What made this group different and special was even bigger brains. Limb structure was more adapted to that upright bipedal gait that I talked so much about in the first video, and standing upright. So our lower body is a little more well developed than our upper body, which is opposite from the other hominids. Our hands and thumbs are even more opposable, more powerfully gripped than the other apes. Okay? And these are most, but not all, of the species of hominids, humans, that appear in the fossil record and lead to our development, lead to us. So we have Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Homo heidelbergensis, Homo neanderthalensis, Homo denisova, Homo sapiens, an early version that we originally called Cro-Magnon, and then one that's called Homo naledi, which that was new to me. I don't know much about that one. I'm going to go through a few of these. Okay, Homo habilis. So this was the first genuinely recognizable member of the genus Homo, and you can see He still has some pretty major facial differences from us, still has these big brow ridges, which is kind of a hallmark of the group of hominids, and that forward, or that forehead that slopes back, big prominent jaw. Okay, but fully upright, scavenged for meat, and they did use tools. These were the first tool making, where we see the first evidence of tool making in a hominid. Okay, very simple, chipped rocks, but purposefully chipped rocks for sharp edges, for butchering meat and using as defensive weapons, because we're kind of wussy. We have no claws, no teeth. So having this brain ability to make a weapon led to some good, successful outcomes for us. Okay, the next group to appear is Homo erectus, upright man, and this is where we start to see even more human behaviors. We start to see more culturally familiar things. We see the use of fire. We see semi-permanent dwellings. Here's a nest, but instead of just being folded over branches or piled up grass on the ground to nest in, this is where we start building huts. Okay, and making more tools. And Homo erectus was the first hominid that we see evidence of making flint axes. They might have had handles, we're not sure sometimes. They actually controlled fire. They ate a bigger variety of food. They may have had language, at least more complex sounds than the other apes and hominins. And again, this is where we start to see a longer childhood in humans. Homo erectus was the first to spread out of Africa for reals, going all over southern Europe, Arabia, and southern Asia. And then we get to what you guys probably recognize as the caveman, Homo sapiens neanderthalensis. So this is where we first start to see the species sapiens, and we have some subspecies. Okay? You are a subspecies of Homo sapiens. You are Homo sapiens sapiens. So Neanderthals were our very close genetic cousins, and we see in their in the anthropological sites that we've dug up, we see that they did use art. They had medicine in terms of using medicinal plants and repairing or treating injuries in their troop. They may have had religion. They definitely held funerals. They wore clothing, and we think they may have had language as well. Neanderthals lived right alongside other modern humans, and we see the last ones go extinct about 30,000 years ago, just after an ice age, where they were quite successful because they were very burly, strong, well adapted to the cold. And this is an example of a very purposeful Neanderthal burial. And we do see some primitive cave art, very primitive musical instruments as well. So indicates that they had some culture. They had clothing, they had tools. Their tools were still stone, not as advanced as the later Homo sapiens, but definitely more artfully crafted tools than Homo erectus and the other early humans. Okay? Neanderthal cavemen did live at the same time as modern humans. In fact, we find dwellings that overlapped in time in close proximity, and they didn't look, I mean, you could see these people like out on the street today and not think that they were like, oh my God, another species. They were closely related, and we're pretty sure, I mean, the DNA shows us that modern humans 30 to 50,000 years ago were breeding with Neanderthals. They were having babies. You probably have some Neanderthal DNA in your DNA. All right. But they did go extinct because this last final remaining species of human, Homo sapiens sapiens, that's you. Okay. Anatomically modern humans appear in the fossil record about 130,000 years ago, and by 30,000 years ago, were the only species of hominin left. No more Australopithecines, No other Homo sapiens, no nothing. It was just us. Migrated quickly out of Africa, spread throughout Europe and Asia, and then eventually, of course, into the Americas. Differences from other hominins: we're shorter, lighter, we have smaller bones, we run, we're runners, that's what we're built for. Walking, that's great, we can't swing through trees to save our lives, but boy can we run because we're small. We have smaller brow ridges and we have a high forehead. And if you tap yourself in your forehead, that is this right here, okay? We have massive, significant differences in how our brains are built. Not just that we have bigger brains, because we don't. Homo neanderthalensis had a larger brain than we did. Ours is just constructed more complexly, and we have different parts. And the most important part of that is we have the ability for abstract, really abstract thought. We ask why, and we ask how, and that's where science came from, and that's what we are and why we are what we are today. Okay? The spread from Africa, so this big red southeastern part of Africa, that's the African savanna. This part through here is jungle, up here is desert, okay, in Africa. So our 130,000 years ago, our original ancestors evolved here and started walking out into Europe, Asia, Siberia, across this, which used to be land, down into the Americas, and we are everywhere. The first really modern human that we see, and these are the guys that lived alongside Neanderthals and probably bred with them, were the Cro-Magnon man, and that's an older name for this this group of early modern humans. They had art, they had religion. We're pretty sure we see these little Venus statuettes. We're pretty sure that they worshipped a goddess of some sort. They did beautiful, intricate cave art, and their tools were much more advanced. They had throwing and projectile tools, bows and arrows, atlatls, and throwing spears. Okay. And then we go from being cavemen to being farmers. That started about 10,000 years ago in Mesopotamia, which we now call Iraq. Okay. And then fast forward 10,000 years to the 1850s, early 1800s, and we get the Industrial Revolution, and we see really the beginnings of our modern, truly technologically modern society. Okay? And this is our range now. There's nowhere that we are not on this planet. We are in Antarctica as well, which is not shown on this map. We only don't live at the North Pole because there's no land there, but we are everywhere. And we truly are the dominant and prominent species on the planet right now. And I think later in the week, I will talk more about some of the results of that. Okay? All right, I'm done talking. Whew. If you want to learn more about where did you come from, I have put these links on the page below this video in Canvas. So, you know, what else you got going on? Nothing, right? Go watch some stuff. Go learn some things. I'm going to post the assignment to go with this. It's just going to be your Prezi. That's it, because I talked so much at you. So make sure you got notes done. Upload them, submit them as the assignment, either handwritten notes or typed out. And then go do your Prezi assignment, and that's it. I will do one more thing later this week, and then I think we'll be done. Does that sound good? Maybe a quiz? I don't know. You guys, I don't know. We're almost done. Okay. Have a beautiful day. Be good. Be safe. Be smart. Keep a dolphin length between you two, between two people. Sorry, my throat's all dry. I'm gonna go now. Okay, bye.